Hello everyone, a warm welcome from our side for TechEd virtual sessions. I hope you enjoy all the sessions that you joined so far. Today in this Jumpstart session, we will be talking about how we can use SAP Build Portfolio to create an end-to-end sales order management scenario. My name is Burak Demir. I'm working in the product management team for SAP Build Apps, and I have Stephan with me.
Hello everyone, my name is Stephan Schluchter. I'm part of the product management team for SAP Build Process Automation. And I can tell you one thing or two things. First, I'm really looking forward to the session and we will have a lot of fun together.
Yes. So then let's get started with the scenario. But before we go into our scenario for today, I would like to talk a little bit about our SAP Build portfolio. So in this bigger picture, you can see that in the center we have Cloud ERP at SAP, and then we have SAP BTP, which is SAP Business Technology Platform, and all of the SAP Build products run on top of SAP BTP. And here you can see that if you follow my mouse here, so we have the application development and automation, and those pillars are for SAP Build. And in this next slide, so here you can see that for the application development and automation on SAP BTP, we have SAP Build, SAP Build Code, and SAP BTP ABAP environment. But for today, we will be going to SAP Build, so no code, low code part, that most of the things are working in drag and drop simplicity. And there you go. This is our low code, no code SAP Build portfolio. Here we have SAP Build Apps, my favorite build product, to create some applications without any code. Then we have SAP Build Process Automation. I think this is
my favorite product.
Yes, that's right. That we can create some process without any code, some automation. And at the end, we have SAP Build Work Zone, where we can go and create some business websites and deploy our applications.
Which is our combined favorite product.
Exactly. This is our combined one because we both use the Work Zone for SAP Build Apps and for process automation. Okay, so it was a very quick overview about SAP Build portfolio. Now let's go to our sales order management scenario, because this is a jumpstart hands-on session. We will be talking about what you will be creating and how you will be creating. And at the end, we will show you the required some GitHub materials and folders so that you can go start working on your own pace and complete this cool exercise. So let's talk about what we will build. We will first go to process automation to create a business process there, and we will create an API trigger for this one so that this will be triggered from Build Apps in the next step. And once we create this API trigger, we will also determine some approval flow, so who will be the approval for those forms, and we will deploy this process into our SAP account. After we're done with process automation, we will go to SAP Build Apps. We will design some user interface there, and we will integrate the process that we created in process automation in SAP Build Apps application. And after we are done with the SAP Build Apps, our last stop will be at SAP Build Work Zone. And in the Work Zone, we will first create a business website, a workspace there, and integrate our application from apps to Work Zone, which means we will deploy our application from Build Apps to the Work Zone account. And then at the end, we will enable the My Inbox as a tile so that our end user will see what's going on with the items, what's going on with the approvals, which order was approved automatically or rejected.
So, I mean, as you can see here, also the main thing is really the combination of the whole SAP Build portfolio, how they are working together, and how you can nicely integrate them to really provide value on your side.
All right, so maybe this is going to be our last slide before we go to live demo environment. After we're done with the process, we will first go to SAP Build Work Zone to experience this flow end-to-end, right? So in the Work Zone, we will access our workspace and we will launch our application that we created in SAP Build Apps. And then in this application created in Build Apps without any code, we will create a sales order there. And once we create the sales order, we will be triggering a process created in process automation, and at the end we will go to SAP Build Work Zone inbox part to either check the status of this order or either approve or reject this order. Maybe we should also make this note, Stephan. So for the simplicity of this scenario, we are the same person who creates the sales order and approves or rejects the sales order. But of course, in the real world, you can change the scenario. Right now, we are only focusing on the integration part of SAP Build.
Exactly. And what you see here is a kind of a, let's say, typical extension scenario. So what we are not doing in this exercise, what would be, let's say, the logical last step is then actually the triggering of the sales order in the related S/4HANA system, for example.
All right, so then I think we can now switch our screen to our demo environment. So welcome to SAP Build Work Zone part. This is our site manager, so site directory. I think the scale is okay for now. So this is our workspace called Job Core. I created this workspace for this demo. Let's first open this workspace to see what we have. So we have two things. First thing is the application that we created in SAP Build Apps and deployed to Work Zone part. So the application is called Create Sales Order, and then my initials BD. I know that it's not the best application name, but for demo purposes, let's stick with it. And then we have our inbox that we can control the status of our orders. So now I will first launch this application from, again, Work Zone, and you can understand how they are connected, all three SAP Build products here. So this is our application, right? We need a customer name to create the sales order. For example, let's say No Code Masters will be my name of the company. And we need a material. So for example, a mouse. They will create a sales order for the mouse. And the amount will be, let's say, 25 for the first order. We need a delivery date, but this is not important for demo purposes. So I just put any date. And then I click Get Approval. This part is very important because behind this button, we have a logic that we are triggering a process created in Process Automation. So once I click here, you will see that in the below, I triggered a process with some ID. I got the notification as an end user. So I'm done with creating the sales order. So now let's go to inbox and see if we have anything in the inbox. We had zero items, but now we have one item here. So your order mouse has been approved automatically. Maybe I should highlight this. This is an auto-approval notification form, so I can just submit it. I can see all of the information like material name, customer name, order amount coming from the app, from Build Apps, right? So this was the auto-approval notification. But what if we create an order for a bigger size? For example, an order amount. What if the order amount is more than 100? Let's also try this. But before go there, let me just submit this and refresh my inbox. There you go. I have no items available. Now I go back my application and trigger another sales order. Again, No Code Masters is my customer name. For this time, let's say keyboard, and they need, let's say, 145 amount. So for the delivery date, again, any date for demo purposes, I'm clicking on Get Approval, which means I'm triggering my process from Build Apps to Process Automation. I got the notification that I triggered the process. Now let's go back.
And now I'm really curious what's happening. I have a guess.
All right,
but
you have a guess. So I just refresh my page, and you can see that I have one item in my inbox. And now if I go here, I have one item, but what is that? It's an approval form. And Stephan, here we have two options.
Right.
So,
what to do.
Yeah, so we have, this time it's not an automatic order confirmation, but it's an approval form for us to either approve or reject this order. Again, we have the same information, material, order amount, everything is on the page, perfect. And now I have options. I will simply approve this form. Should we approve it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, let's approve it.
Let's approve it. Today we are very happy because it's ticket. So let's refresh our inbox, and now we have another item, right? Order confirmation form. Since the previous item was approved, now we got the confirmation form. All the process was taken care by Process Automation. We will go there in a bit, and you can see that we have the same information. Once I submit it, refresh my inbox, I have zero item. I go back, just refresh this page as well because I don't want to wait, and then I have zero inbox in my inbox. So let's now go to Build Apps part to understand what was happening in the background, okay? So this is our SAP Build lobby where you can go and create your apps, your process, or your workspaces. So we will first go to Build Apps project file. So it's loading. I have some unsaved changes, but it's fine.
You did work on this
yesterday. Exactly.
Oh.
Last night I just tried something. Okay. Yeah. So here, welcome to SAP Build Apps project design time, right? So on the left-hand side, we have some UI components if you want to, work with those. For example, if you want a cart, I can just drag and drop here. If you want to have a button, you can just drag and drop. And once you want to configure it, for example, I click on the cart. On the right-hand side, I have properties, and I can just say, take it is fun, right? So you can just configure those components, for example, and we have a button here. If you want to change the style of those existing UI components, then we have some, pre-existing settings. But if you want to change something else, if you want to have your own, you can just edit any components. For example, change the background color, change the white, so text color to the white, and there you have it. You have a personalized component. So let's remove those. Very quick drag and drop simplicity to show you. And now come back to our application. Here we have some different form fields in the containers, and each container, for example, let's open this up. Each container has one text and one input field. And those input fields, if you can remember, the end user was just inserting something into these input fields, and we were binding those fields into some variables. For example, for this material, we are binding this into this data variable. But how this is here, what we have done for that one. So in order to explain those, let's go to Authentication tab. For this demo, we are using SAP BTP authentication because we have a process in process automation that we trigger from Build Apps. So under same SAP account, we can easily enable the authentication, BTP authentication, to start working for those destinations. And then in the Data tab, I created a data entities, SAP BTP Destination REST API. And this is my data entity. And here I have a BTP destination name. So basically, after we create our process in process automation, we just create a BTP destination name, BTP destination as well, so that you will see in the documentation how to create this BTP destination as well. And after you bind this, or let's say connect this BTP destination, then we have here some headers and body mapper here. So here we have the destination ID. Unfortunately, I cannot open this destination ID because this is only for me, because each process in process automation has unique destination IDs, so that you can easily trigger those processes from outside of process automation. I put my destination ID, and my configuration for the data entity was done. And last part in the Build Apps, here we have the variables. I added a data variable by binding the same data source that we just configured, and I just show you, right? And this is going to be a new data record for the data variable type. So after this point, we can easily, for example, bind those fields. Right now I'm in the amount, and you can just select in the list how to, actually which field to bind this. For example, we have order amount. Without any code, I can just select from the list, and there we have it. And last point in the Build Apps was the Get Approval button. And in this button, you can see that we have a very simple logic. Basically, once the component is tapped, maybe I can just make it bigger. Once the component is tapped, we are creating the record in the data entity, which means we are sending this order to the process automation, and we are toasting a message to the user. And for example, this toast message was there for 2 seconds, but you can make it 5, you can make it dynamic, again, without any code. So maybe we can also go to process automation part right now.
I would love to go to.
Yes, because this is your favorite.
I know.
Yes. Now I'm sad because we are leaving from Build Apps. You see, all right, so let me quickly refresh it. There you go. So welcome to process automation part. This was the process when we create the sales order. Each process in process automation has one trigger point and one end point. And basically, we triggered this trigger from Build Apps part. And after we trigger this, you can see that we have one if condition. And if I open the condition editor, you know what I really like about low-code, no-code development? What you see is what you get. So basically, if the order amount is greater than 100, then go to this way. If it's less than 100, go the other way. That's why I think our first order was 20, 25?
25.
Okay, then we got the auto approval notification, and after this notification, our process ended. But in the second form, I think it was for 145 something. So about 100, we got the approval form, we got approve or reject buttons, then we have order confirmation form. Maybe we can also highlight one more point here. So we receive a form. And here, for example, we got the subject line, please review keyboard, right? So basically, the material name was dynamic there. And how we can just, bind those variables into a dynamic variables. So on the left-hand side, we can create some data types, but we created already. Let's check the one that we already created. We created some data types. So after we create those data types, we can easily use them dynamically in our forms. And that's what we are exactly doing here. If I go back to my process, my form, please review material, This is my dynamic variable. And we also have some recipients here. So for example, user Burak Demir, so my user email address, but we can add new users, or we can go to groups, create some groups and put the groups here so that at the end we assign people to the groups. And I think it's going to be easier for the users when they're creating some process automation, right? Yeah. And after that, actually, there was a form that we saw to approve the order. Let's go and check this form. Remember Build Apps, most of the things were working in drag and drop simplicity. Same case for process automation, because it's SAP Build. So on the left-hand side, we have some components. If you want to choose any of those, for example, a date one, drag and drop, put it somewhere, and it's ready for you to use. And if you want to bind this to dynamic variable, you can also adjust it here so that this will be very easy for you. After you're done with everything in your process, what you will do is you will release your process. Okay, let me save everything, but maybe I cannot. Anyways, all right. So now, basically, you release your process, you version. So you number your version, and at the end, you can even have different versions out of same process automation project file. And after you release them, you basically deploy this to the SAP account, and this will be easy for you and ready for you to get it started from Build Apps. So basically, you can trigger those from Build Apps to process automation. It was our end-to-end scenario. I want to quickly show you one more thing here, because I really love this, even though process automation is not my favorite product. I mean, second favorite. Yeah, okay. So here in the SAP Build lobby, we have Monitor tab, and we have a cockpit view here. So if I go to Process and Workflow instances, I will have my cockpit view. And if I go my application in parallel, for example, where was my application? There you go. I just open my application, go back to cockpit. You can see that I have no data, which means I have no running processes here. But let's create a quick order, okay? So again, no code masters, because we are all masters for low code. And then just keyboard, material, amount is 10, any date for demo purposes again. Let me click and get the approval. You know what's happening now. Go to inbox. I have one item here. And here, if we go back to cockpit view and refresh my page, you will see that I have one process running. This is, I think, one of the greatest features that I like about process automation, because here you have the full view. You know who triggered this process, when this process was triggered, with what kind of parameters this process were triggered. You can see all of the views. You can stop this process if you want. You can do everything. But for example, let's go back to inbox. Simply submit this order so that we will not have any item in our inbox. Perfect. And if I go and refresh this page, we have no data. Yeah, because if we filter our processes based on the completed ones, then we can see all of the triggers that we triggered from Build Apps. This is also possible. So it was the end-to-end flow. Let's maybe also go to GitHub file to show them how they can start following this one. So do you want to just take the lead here, Stephan?
So because everything what we have showed you right now, this is actually what you can do now after this session. So we have prepared here the material for you. You will find information how to set up the free products in your own trial landscape, and then also a dedicated description of the exercise tutorial, what you need to do each and every step to also be able to approve such sales orders as you have just seen in a demo by Burak.
And here, for example, we have some overview of some more details regarding the scenario. Stephan spent a lot of time in this document. Thanks a lot, Stephan. This is going to be very helpful for you, publicly available under the session materials. So for today's demo, we used the free trial landscape. So basically, you can also see how you can set up your free trial account for Build Apps, Work Zone, and Process Automation. I mean, if you already have it under your SAP account, you can just go and do it. But if you don't have it, there you go. You can just set up your free trial for all 3 Build products in 15 minutes. And after that, you will see the required step for exercise. If you start in 1.1 and follow through the line, I'm sure you can do this because it's no code, right?
Exactly, yeah. And if you have any issues, you can also point in the issues section and ask us directly.
Maybe before we go to presentation, just a quick one. We can also share our materials here. So the presentation will be available under the GitHub documentation. But of course, here, if you want to go to more learning documents, you can find those required QR codes to just go there. And of course, we have another more materials at sap.com. And here you go. Yeah, I think it's time to go to Q&A now.
Yes.
Live Q&A.
Okay, let's have a look at questions. And one question which I would like to take the first one.
Okay.
The question was from Gianluca, thank you for that. Which difference between SAP Signavio and SAP Build Process Automation?
Very good question.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the main difference is with SAP Signavio, you have the capabilities to actually analyze your processes. So to find out, are there any issues, are there any kind of bottlenecks? Even you can drill down, do so-called process mining analytics and really find out where's the problem. And then you can use SAP Build Process Automation to either fix this problem, to create net new processes, extend standard business processes, as you have also shown here in the demo. By the way, this is all referred also in a combination under the umbrella Enterprise Automation. And just one info, so yesterday I also gave a session on this. Please have a look, and then I think you have the best overview picture there.
Yeah. So which question we should take the next? So first of all, there are many questions. Thanks a lot for that one. Our colleagues will be also answering those questions even after the session, just a highlight. Okay.
I think there is one question which I like very much.
Okay,
so,
please.
Can process automation connect with ECC systems? Is there any tutorial material on how to connect process automation to ECC? Short answer, yes, this is there. I guess we even have some tutorials which will guide you there, but even better, you don't need to start from scratch for certain scenarios because we are offering pre-built content packages which you can use, import within your environment, and then use this to connect to the ECC system and do the extension, what you need to do there.
And do you know that we will also have some pre-built content packages for Build Apps next year?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Because now Process Automation has it, and I'm jealous of it. So that's why we will also have it in Build Apps next year. Okay, so which one to go for? Next one.
So, let's see.
So maybe here, okay. Yeah, let's go with this one, please.
So the question was, is it possible to create some business logic with scripts, maybe Groovy with Build Apps and Work Zone?
Okay, with Build Apps and Work Zone. Yeah, I was just in the other question, sorry about that. Okay, so can we create some business logic with scripts? So what kind of scripts do you think right now they're talking about?
Well, probably they would like to include some JavaScripts or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So extending, let's say, the low-code environment with doing some coding.
I think this is a very good question. So the thing is, we don't want to promote that, hey, you can inject some JavaScript code into your Build Apps project. But on the other hand, if there's a question, yes, this is possible. We have some logic components in our project file in the Build Apps design time. You can go drag and drop a JavaScript logic component and start injecting some JavaScript codes. Then you can just copy paste this component. This is all possible. But on the other hand, for example, in today's scenario, we use 0 line of code, right? So this is also possible. So maybe just to note that. But thanks for the question.
There's another one. So we have a customer who is planning to build a workflow for approval of incoming invoices. Is it possible to use the workflow without being an SAP user, just to make approvals within the workflow? So, I mean, let's say the whole area of commercialization, so what kind of users are there, I think is a different topic, but at all there are possibilities available that you can also include other users in the flow of the process itself.
Yeah. And there is another question from Venkat. How to add the inbox style on Build Work Zone? The question is here, and if we can see my screen right now, under the GitHub documentation, we have the add my inbox from Build Process Automation to Build Work Zone. Here we are basically creating a BTP destination under the same SAP account so that you can easily enable your inbox, and then once you trigger some processes, this will be just possible for you to check your inbox as well. So this is going to be exercise 3.3. If you can follow it, then that will be amazing. And yeah, thank you.
Done. Thanks a lot for the session today.
Yeah, it was very good. Thanks a lot for the question. We enjoyed a lot. And then see you in another one, and have a great day.
And have fun with the exercise.
Yes.
Bye.
Happy no coding.